Welcome to the Group Chat, a podcast hosted by Vic Kainth, Pav Toure and Sunny Singh. This podcast will talk about all the things that matter, right here and now. We'll discuss and debate what's happening in popular culture, music, dating, and the craziness of everyday life. You've officially been added to the Group Chat. Okay, so we're back for part 2 of our podcast on the current state of the bhangra music. So we covered a couple of interesting things in part 1. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's available on Spotify, YouTube and Apple Podcasts. So we covered some interesting topics like the state of the UK bhangra industry and how it compares to other regions such as Canada, Toronto and India. The casteism in bhangra, and that's I think that's a topic we got quite passionate about.
I definitely did.
Sorry?
I
definitely did.
Yeah, you definitely did. Yeah. And whether or not sort of, the word jut, does that cause prejudice?
And I think I'm referring it, in terms of cultural discrimination, because a lot of what I believe in what I'm putting across as my artwork is like equality, and unity. So I think that's why I kind of feel quite strongly about that factor of bhangra.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, definitely some interesting points made. And of course, we also covered the rough, and I say rough because we covered it quite loosely, the rough evolution of bhangra music from the early sort of 80s and 90s towards sort of the early thousands and, 2010 and where it sits now. Yeah. And we also sort of compared it to obviously the evolution is from the UK Western standpoint. It's very different for other regions. But yeah, it was quite an interesting topic.
Yeah, and we left off in the previous episode talking about where we think the bhangra and the bhangra industry would go and where it is right now, how we see it in the future. So I know Vic gave his opinion on it. So Sunny, I want to throw this question at you. Where do you see the bhangra industry going in the future? So by the time our kids we have kids and they grow up, will they be listening to it? Is it going to be overly westernized? Because, even people in India are now becoming more westernized. Before bhangra was predominantly produced in the UK. But we're now currently seeing a shift where a lot of music is now being produced in Canada and America. Yeah. So are we going to see, is it going to come a point where the UK just isn't the hub anymore? So what are your thoughts on that?
I think I agree to the point you just said. And I'm saying agree because in the last episode I went, I agree. I didn't know what I was talking about because I wasn't listening. But I agree to a specific point you just mentioned about how it's going towards how, bhangra was predominantly, we were so mature with our bhangra music in the UK, but now it's all going to sort of Toronto and Vancouver and California. Like if you look at Diljit and Sidhu Moose Wala and all these artists, they're all having their music videos shot in sort of North America, and they're having their music produced there. So I think like all UK Indians say they want to do, it's going to Canada.
Yeah.
And I kind of think you made a point about how bhangra might be, or whether the traditional bhangra would still be there. I think this is a theory. It may or may not be true, but I think bhangra music, by predominantly being produced in places like Canada, is actually taken a big step back in terms of being closer to tradition.
Ooh, okay.
And I say that because in the UK, I think UK was one of the first people where sort of the emigration of Indians, this is where we first started populating, regions outside of India. And the UK was like in the 60s, obviously had a massive Indian presence. Of course, not compared to what it has now. And I think that's where Indians in the UK really had a strong sense of sort of link between Indian culture, because they were first generation. And I think now what we're finding is the UK Indians, Punjabis, Muslims, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, etc., they've evolved to the point where they're adopted British values quite a lot. And that's not a bad thing. If you want to say it's not a good thing either, well, that's, you're entirely right, you're entitled to your opinion. But what I'm finding with Canada, and I've been there, is a lot of the people there are sort of first generation. And they are the people that we had in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
Because they have, it's only been sort of in the last... I don't know, I was going to say 10 to 15 years, but probably more. I would say like early 2000s is when we really started emigrating to Toronto. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong, but you catch my drift.
But you're kind of essentially saying that in Canada, most of the Indians there, or Punjabi community, I guess, is a bit more old school.
Yes, that's
Still?
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a lot of other people say as well.
I agree.
I feel like they're closer to the root.
Yeah.
And therefore, they're having a really good sort of fusion with Western culture. And let me tell you,
where's Desi Crew from? Are they all Canadian?
I thought they were Indian.
I'm not sure. I have a sense they're from California, but I'm not sure.
Ah, okay.
Let me Google it.
Yeah.
You guys can.
So I am like, obviously the UK bhangra here was influenced by other mainstream UK music. So at the time it would have been a lot of garage, it would have been a lot of grime, right?
Yeah.
But what's the big genre now in North America? Hip hop.
Yeah.
This is why you see Diljit Dosanjh driving around in a convertible Cadillac in California. That is an iconic hip hop image.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
if you look at, NWA,
there's Dr. Dre and Ice Cube in a cruising.
So I think what their musical fusion is heavily influenced by hip hop.
Yeah.
And you can see that. You can see that in the Sidhu Moose Walas.
You can tell in their tracks as well, using synths exactly
Sidhu Moose
like
Wala is
Dre.
the NWA of bhangra music. Fuck the police. The police fucking hate him.
He does actually say that in one of his songs.
So it goes back to my question. So do you think folk music is gonna? If you look at the way the music is now, you look at all of the Sidhu Moose Wala songs, the Karan Aujla songs, Diljit Dosanjh songs. They've all got a sort of mainstream twist to it.
Huh? Yeah.
Don't break the law.
Whatever his name is.
No. I'm just saying, not good.
Oh right. But I look at also India, and I look at how westernized they're becoming themselves. So if they're becoming westernized from there, and then these people then from there migrate to Canada, then they're already westernized than they were before, and then they're going to become even more westernized.
True.
Yeah,
so then what happens to the true folk music?
This is the thing, like...
What happens to that? Because eventually what's going to happen is...
It's going to
the
fizzle
Canadians and the Americans right now are, you'd say, first generation, or second generation, and first generation, so they really understand it. But soon they're going to become like us.
Let's talk about... So what's really traditional in India? Farming. Let's talk about farming, to make your point. Now, over the time, the process of farming crops has changed. Used to be an animal pulling a certain tool. I don't know what the tool's called.
But you still see that.
But now it's evolved to a tractor.
No, but you go some places and they're still using cows to pull things.
But over time, that will evolve. Right?
Fine.
The same thing will happen to folk music. It will evolve.
But then it's no longer folk.
You know what? Do you
see the point I'm trying to make?
I do.
So I think that there's certain producers that have that kind of flavor, like that are still upholding a folk tradition, or like, you know, the root of culture in the music, but they fused it with what's Western so that they appeal to more audience that is, you know, growing up now. Like you have people like True Score and Chaos Productions who are using samples of, you know, old school 80s 70s beats and like, you know, like really old school like classics, and using that sampling technique with like Algoze and Dumbia and all that kind of stuff. So like they're still upholding that flavor of tradition, but they're appealing. That's what I mean. They're kind of adapted to today,
Okay.
which is, I guess it won't fizzle out all the way, because there are some people that are still upholding it pretty well.
But then, do you not? So I think about sort of the kids of today's generation. You'd say 50% of them, maybe 40%, you'd say are a bit whitewashed. Yeah, they don't actually understand the language. They don't speak the language. So when they have kids, they're not going to know Punjabi. They're not going to speak Punjabi.
Yeah.
So
the
it dilutes,
coconuts of the world.
yeah. So what I think the question I'm trying to get to, well, the answer I'm trying to get to is what's going to happen to Bhangra music in that sense? Are people going to just stop listening to it because they just don't understand it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we understand it because our parents speak Punjabi. We can all speak Punjabi, so we understand.
I understand parts of it.
But
Yeah.
like I said in part one, I don't think that's a problem, because I feel like there are a lot of people who, you know, I understand Punjabi,
Right.
not to the extent of my parents,
Right.
but there are people out there who really understand Punjabi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's our generation, right?
Yeah.
But what happens?
But this still
happens
comes
is-
down to other like music of like Spanish music, or like, you know, Cuban, Mexican music we still love, but we don't understand it. We don't understand what they're saying. We just love the music
Yeah.
That's a
because
fair
we're
point,
musicians as well, so we know how to
I
appreciate
don't think
it.
you need to understand necessarily.
actually. Okay.
You know,
Because I remember sometimes I'm banging this like Bhangra tune in my car, and my parents are sitting there and they're like, "Do you even understand what he's saying?" And I'm like,
actually,
yeah.
do you remember that
No.
song called Lus Lus Karde?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember being really young, playing that song in the house. Do you guys have any idea how dirty and filthy and
This is what I got told about Jamkila. Like the first time I showed my dad like Jamkila, when I actually discovered it, and I was listening to his music, I was like, Dad, his voice is sick or whatever, like the music is like really good. And he's like, do you understand what he's saying? I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah, it's not good. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like
I'm just struggling to imagine what it's going to be like for the future generations.
You know what? Maybe we just don't know, and maybe we won't know until it happens. That's the thing, because anything can happen. We know that.
But there is also you often will find that when it comes to fashion and popular culture, there is a life cycle, and the life cycle always comes back to an equilibrium.
Yeah.
So
Things have its moment,
where
they
in
come
the
back down.
80s,
Yeah.
certain haircuts, certain music styles were fashionable. In the 90s, they were out of fashion, and something new came about. Now a lot of people are adopting the 80s look and feel. They're sampling 80s music.
Especially like how you're saying fashion. Denim was in fashion, then it wasn't, and then it is again now.
Yeah, so it just goes in a cycle.
Those fanny packs, they used to be in fashion, back
Exactly.
in the 60s.
And
now they are
things-
back, and people are wearing them differently.
And some things just never get old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Like I spent Friday evening watching Toy Story with my niece and nephew.
Yeah.
That was like, I always claim that it's my childhood movie. I'm sure that's everybody's childhood movie.
Yeah.
That's never going to go out of fashion. And there are songs out there that are never going to go out of fashion.
Yeah.
The same way the mainstream
There'll
has.
always be some sort of nostalgia,
Yeah.
or like, we'd always like remember that there's a song that
The same way the mainstream music has Freddie Mercury and Queen
absolutely,
and
yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no doubt that we would have music that was remastered like Gurdas Maan's Ki Bano Duniya Da.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
a very
when
good point.
it was remastered. If you listen to the original, have you heard him do it live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the original and you listen to it now, would you not argue that the remastered version is still folk music?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
But it became one of the most popular songs because it was remastered by Diljit Dosanjh and Gurdas.
You know what? Saying that, NWA did exactly the same thing. They put out a whole album again, all remastered.
Okay, so anything else on that?
No.
I think that was some interesting points. I think if anybody listening has an opinion, I say this
Every time.
week. Yeah.
No comments.
If somebody listening has an opinion, let us know.
Yeah, but it's a great question from Pav, definitely.
I have
Yes,
a question.
I'm quite curious. I'm quite curious to know what it's going to be like.
No, it's good to think that way.
As Pav would say, I have a question.
Yep.
Taking the piss.
Vic, you, my man.
I disagree.
Vic,
Yeah.
you have had the pleasure and the privilege
Yeah.
of meeting a legend when it comes to bhangra, and that legend is the one and only Gurdas Maan.
Ooh.
Yep.
Tell us, for us mere mortals, what
Mere
was it
mortal.
like to meet Gurdas Maan?
Oh man, it's bizarre, man, in a good way. Like,
So should we set the scene of where and when this was?
yeah. So this was in Birmingham, NIA, I think. Did he perform at NIA Arena? For his concert last year, where my artwork was on his screens. When
So
he was
the
performing.
backdrop was your artwork,
Yes,
right?
I was commissioned to do artwork by his team, by his manager, for his show, and it was an immense feeling, like, absolutely crazy, because you see the size of the stage, you see the size of the screens, and it's absolutely crazy, like, to be sitting in the audience and see your artwork appear behind this legend.
Yeah.
And to even describe it, like, I mean, when I was there, I'm just speechless myself, and to even have the honor of doing that. After that show, I got to meet him because Punjab 2000 asked me to just print off some of the artworks and at least give I have a chance to meet him and actually present him with the artwork, so that he knows at least who made it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was told. He wasn't in contact with me, his manager was. So honestly, meeting him was like the quickest 2 minutes of my life. I say this all the time. It's like because
if anybody else has had a quicker 2 minutes with Vic, can you let us know?
Oh my god. You know what? I'm trying to put myself in that position again, and it's just like, he speaks, like, anyone that he speaks to, when he speaks to you, is like he speaks to you with love.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he bowed his head down to the artwork, that was just, I was presenting it to him, and I was like, shall I roll it back up for you again? He was like, no, I'll do it. I was just like, my Punjabi's terrible, and I was like, how do I communicate with this man? But he understood me. Like, I still, like, explained, like, I did the artwork for you, blah blah blah.
You spoke to him in English?
Well,
or Punjabi?
it was a bit broken Punjabi.
Oh, fine.
But
Okay.
I tried my best as much as I could.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously,
And he comes, like what you said, he comes across as a very emotionally intelligent person.
Yes, and he's very calm. He's like, it's just so nice to speak to.
He has a sense of zen about him.
Exactly that, because when he's on stage, in between his songs that he's performing, he's literally telling stories about his life, of how how things are, the people that he's met, Punjab, where he's been.
Because he does these little speeches in between a song to explain the context of the
it's
song.
like little
isn't it?
quotes, little inspirations that he puts.
Do you remember the Gurdas Maan concert in 2017, maybe, I think it was, where he started crying on stage?
Were we there?
Yes, we were there.
I don't remember him crying.
Yeah, do you remember when he got really emotional about seeing so many people sort of drunk in the crowd? Did you? I don't know if.
Yeah.
Did he say something that offended someone, and he had to apologise at the next show in Canada?
No, that was
different.
That was
This is
something
different,
else,
right? Yeah.
So what Pav's talking about is the arena that he was performing in was seated, and he was getting a little upset that people were getting up and dancing, because I don't actually know why, to be honest. I don't know why he was getting so upset. I think first of all the security were telling people that you need to stay seated, but I don't know why. Do you know why, Pav?
No, I think obviously because the rules in the arena where
that's what it is. Because I remember in the in like the alleyways on the side, they can't have people standing.
Yeah, but he can't get upset about people drinking when he sings about in Up and Up Punjab. He doesn't even say "Kar di sharab hove."
No, absolutely, yeah. But I think the point he was trying to make was, because people drank so much that they were dancing all over the place. They were just upsetting people around them. The security was constantly running up and down.
Yeah.
It
just makes it less enjoyable
going,
for certain people.
I remember that. So he seemed like a very emotional type of person.
Yeah.
I think he's a person that has built a very, very successful career of wearing his heart on his sleeve and portraying his emotions through his music. And if you listen to his music, it is
So
very,
genuine.
very emotional. If you listen to songs like Benedict Galia and what the song you were talking about in the last episode, Pav, where he's talking about how India has been corrupt by drugs and alcohol and other narcotics.
Yeah. I think it was called Punjab. I think it was called the song.
Yeah. I don't know.
But then he's also got songs where he talks about like Sikh history, for example. You know the one. You know which one I'm talking about? It's like your favorite song, the one where he's an army officer, and he's sitting there and he has a picture of Guru Gobind Singh Ji on his thing. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Mera Desh? No.
No, it's not Mera Desh. Sarban Stanya, something like that.
What?
Yeah. Is it Sarban Stanya? I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
That is an absolute
Nice.
cracker of
Nice.
a song.
But yeah, so his songs have a message in them.
And he does speak a lot. Like the question you had asked about where's the future of Bhangra, if you listen to his song Ki Bano Duniya Da, and if you listen to how he's talking about how the culture is changing, where people are swapping out sort of like gokke and like nose rings for certain other types of jewelry, which isn't seen as tradition. And I think if you were grown up in that culture, you moved to a country that was very westernized, you of course would miss it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't blame the people for adapting to sort of the new cultures. Obviously, our parents moved to here. You got people moving to Canada. You can understand why people sort of start losing that bit of culture. And what his songs essentially are saying is, don't forget it.
Yeah.
Because once it's forgotten, it's done. Like you can't go back.
Though, like you say, obviously adapting to something as well, but we have to remember that everyone adapts in a different way. People will pick up different things. Not everyone. There's not a raw or right way to adapt to something.
Do you know what I found really cool? Gurdas Maan put up an Instagram video of him sitting on a sofa, listening to Ed Sheeran sing on the TV.
Yeah,
Really?
and there's a video when he was actually going down Soho Road in Birmingham, I think it was there, and a song came on. I think it was like an Usher beat or something like that. And he started just freestyling on top of it.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the car, and he was like, put the volume up a little bit, and then he just started singing on top of it, which was pretty
You got to
sick.
show us that video.
Yeah. It was pretty sick. It was pretty dope. So it shows that he's very, very in tune with Western culture as well. So he doesn't dismiss that.
So,
but overall, it was an amazing feeling. Like I've met other artists before and other singers and stuff. Through Dole, we've all met different people that we've gotten to play Dole with. But Gurdas Maan is like a legend, a living legend. We've grown up listening to that kind of music.
I am so proud, and I'm so thankful and grateful and fortunate that I have grown up in an era where I had the pleasure of listening to an artist like Gurdas Maan.
Yeah.
And when I say grow up in an era, he's been around since the early 1980s, maybe before that. But
absolutely.
I've only seen videos of him from the 1980s. Like, when was Challa, the song, which was part of a movie, right?
Yeah.
That was like the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Look at him there, and then look how amazing and charismatic and culturally
and even that song
significant
Challa
he
itself
is
has
in that
adapted. It's gone. I don't know how many versions there are of Challa. Punjabi MC did a version of Challa as well.
Which
so
is actually
that
quite a
song
good version,
itself
to be
has
fair.
evolved so many. Like is that exact like Sajna as well. It's come through such a long period, and this is why I feel like us 90s kids are like the best, because we got the best of the world that was less technology advanced, and then now
I
top
do
notch
agree.
technology,
That's a very
we
very
get the
good
best
point.
of both.
No, that is a very good point.
I do
'Cause
agree.
you're right. We got to see raw music in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
how it was, and slowly it transitioned. I mean, we've seen like 4 different.
Actually, you've just reminded me of something. I remember seeing Surjit Bindrakya in London in concert. I was very, very young.
Sick.
I was really young. I remember seeing him vaguely. I vaguely remember my parents taking me to see Surjit Bindrakya.
Oh wow.
Mad.
I remember like not the cinema, but the concert hall or the auditorium or whatever you would call it was sort of seated, and it had a really high elevation, and we were kind of sitting near the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
man.
must have been amazing.
Yeah, lucky days.
Not many people get to say that.
Well, that's
actually.
exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember images, and being younger, my favourite song was Dupatta Tera Sat Rang Da.
Oh.
And I used to sing it all the time. So my parents took me to see him when he came to the UK.
Oh wow.
So
That's a
really vague memories, but I do remember.
That's a brilliant song as
And I
well.
think we have the recording on like a video camera, that recording on VHS.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how we are the bridge, because we get to see all those artists who are prominent in the 70s and the 80s, and now we're seeing everything now.
Yeah.
And you look at the kids that were born in the 2000s or 2010s or whatever. They're not gonna know anything about.
They're not.
But what I will say, I really do rate Diljit Dosanjh for bridging the gap between traditional Bhangra and what the generation of today are used to, because he's in his videos, right, in a flashy car, wearing his bug, wearing a lungi, wearing Yeezys. So with his music as well, he's very traditional, but his beats are produced by Western people.
But he's not the only artist to do that.
True, but I just think he does it really well.
Yeah, I think he was just that artist that everybody just took a liking to.
I think he does it really, really well. And, you know, there are fantastic other artists out there who I really admire, like Sherry Maan.
Yeah.
But, you know, Sherry Maan isn't as, and I say this in speech marks, cool as Diljit Dosanjh.
Mm.
You know, it's funny when you look back at the artists that we know and love now, and when you listen to their older music, you're like, oh shit, that song was by them.
I didn't know Luck 28 was Diljit Dosanjh.
Exactly. And
Did you not know?
and
I didn't know that.
Diljit had a song called Chocolate or something, and this was like in some old.
Why did you feel the need to say that in English?
Because
Chocolate.
that's how it was like.
Chocolate.
It was pronounced
Chocolate.
in the actual song. And I looked back at all these
For
other
anybody who
old
wants
music
a
videos, and I was like,
translation,
"What
what
the
he
hell?
means is,
Like, this
chocolate.
is Diljit."
There's another song. I don't know if you guys will know. It's his. It's I don't know. I don't know the name of the song.
I don't think we're gonna get far then.
You got no 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 no. No, that doesn't make sense.
Go on, give us a little hum. Oh yeah.
What are we talking about?
How did you even pick that up from that bullshit humming?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know.
Can you do it again?
What the hell is that?
I'm gonna find it.
Well,
Bear
let's
with
just
me.
play it for Sonny.
What do you mean play it for me? You didn't even play it.
But he picked up what it was.
Yeah, I
But
picked
he's
up
humming
on
a song
he
that's
doesn't know what he's-
completely different to what you're humming. How is that even the same thing? Do you know what I'm done with this podcast?
it. Guaria.
That's what it's
Yes,
Can you play
Guaria.
it?
called.
Yes.
The awkward silence while Vic looks for the song.
I've got it, but people keep calling me, man.
Oh, do you want me to play it?
No,
Vic's
I've
a
got it.
popular-
I've got it.
Vic's a popular one.
Yes.
Banger.
Don't talk of it. We'll have to mute this out anyway.
Can you mute out my humming too?
Yeah, but this is like any other song.
No, listen to it.
I know this song.
Yeah, this is
This is
Diljit Dosanjh.
This is Diljit Dosanjh.
This is Diljit Dosanjh. Listen to him.
Fuck. You're right.
Let me show you the chocolate song.
I didn't know that.
Jesus,
This is such an old song.
his bug is like out here.
Holy shit, it is.
Now that song was about 2004, 2005.
Red
What-
Bug. That's the beat.
Let me see.
Chocolate.
Fuck me, he really did have a glow up, didn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now I recognise the voice.
Yeah.
And even then, like, you see how his voice has changed as well. Like, I think back then, you wouldn't, like, if someone heard that song and didn't know who it's by, they wouldn't recognize it straight away.
Yeah.
You'd have to tell them that it's Diljit. and they'd be like, "What the hell?"
That is a mad one.
Yeah. Took me a little while because I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Okay, well, shout out for Diljit. You know, he's had a
He's had a
tremendous
long career. Yeah.
I really rate him. I think he's done so well.
Yeah, agreed.
And I hope he keeps continuing making music that still does leverage sort of traditional folk music.
Do you know what I like about Diljit Dosanjh? You guys probably don't watch Rising Star. It's basically
Yeah, he's the judge on that.
Yeah, he's a judge
on Colours.
It's
Colours
basically like
TV,
X Factor.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like X
Shout
Factor.
out to the Colours family.
Yeah, so one thing he did, he's done it twice now, to be fair, is there was, I can't remember if it was Vasaki at that time.
Are you gonna say where he stopped speaking Hindi and he started speaking Punjabi?
No. I can't remember what it was because I tweeted him and he replied back to me as well.
What?
He replied back to my tweet. It was basically he made a speech.
Oh, Fred.
That's what it was. He made a speech on 1984 and he was like, "Don't ever forget what happened in 1984 and all of that kind of stuff." And he did it on national TV. He did it live.
Sick.
And he got like, even I tweeted him. I was like, "Oh, you know what? Like, well done for doing that." He actually replied back to me.
Have you still got the tweet?
Yeah, I've got the tweet.
Screenshot it. Let's upload it.
Yeah, I can screenshot it. But then there was another one where they were talking about legendary singers and all the old Bollywood singers.
Yeah.
So he had a shirt and he had Kuldeep Mann on the back. And he went up there and he went, "We can't forget, we talk about all of these Bollywood singers which are great, but from our Punjab, he was the original legend."
Rising Star is the Britain's Got Talent or the X Factor of India.
You'd say
X.
you'd say more, X Factor.
Okay,
you'd say.
cool.
And that's what I really like about him because it's not just his music and stuff, but it's the messages he portrays on these shows, and he's got that platform and he's making use of the platform, which I think is brilliant.
For sure.
So well done to him for that.
Yeah, definitely.
But well, I forgot what the conversation was before.
It's just where the G's kind of been, and like
we were just talking about how we appreciate and rate him as an artist.
So, why do you guys think that you've got Bhangra artists from the UK, and you've got Bhangra artists from India?
Yep.
Now you look at Diljit, you look at Sidhu, you look at Ami Virk, you look at Sidhu Moose Wala is another one. Look how big they've become. Yeah, they're packing out concerts in the UK. They go all over the world, and they're performing. Why is no British UK Punjabi singer ever get to that stage?
Well, I think Juggy D's done quite well.
But he doesn't have concerts like Diljit Dosanjh. He doesn't have concerts like Sidhu Moose Wala
and stuff like that.
You know, he's like there might be a club night out and he will be a guest, or I know he's done a couple of projects with some films and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, do you know what I mean? Like on that level where he's packing out concerts.
Yeah, he's not to the level of like a Diljit.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Just before we move on, I actually really rate Juggy D.
No, I think he's brilliant.
We've played with him a few times. We played with him at Disney
in France. Yeah.
I thought he's a cracking performer, really energetic, and
he's an entertainer.
Sonya's a fucking banger.
Yeah, Sonya is a banger. Yeah.
He's very charismatic as well. I thought he was quite funny.
He's a very
he had me in stitches.
Yeah.
He did have me in stitches. He was a really funny guy. And he's quite chilled out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Yeah.
Sorry, and to your point, why are UK artists not as big as...
Yeah, because, I mean, it's not like they can't speak Bhangra. It's not like they can't sing it. They can do everything that artists from India can do, but they just don't reach that level.
Okay, I have a theory.
Go on.
I have a theory. So, if a UK Bhangra artist was to make a song,
Yeah,
his exposure would be the UK.
fine.
Or her exposure. If an artist from India collabed with, say, a Western producer, or perhaps a producer in India,
Mm-hmm.
his or her exposure is India, UK, Australia, North America. The exposure is wider.
But then isn't like someone like Jaggy D, who I'm just going to use as an example, like he's known in Australia, America, Canada, as well as the UK. And I'm sure I play. And if he wasn't, the thing is, if he wasn't known in India, he wouldn't have done shows like Shilpa Shetty's Wedding.
I didn't know he did Shilpa.
He did Shilpa Shetty's Wedding. The Rich Rich project was there alongside RDB. So I know he's done that.
Was that because of RDB? Because of RDB's link to Bollywood?
Yeah, but they were booked separate. It's because Shilpa Shetty's husband was from here. So he would have
But if
But then they've done songs. They've done a Bollywood. They've done a song in Bollywood as well.
But would Juggy D do a tour around India and sell out?
No, that's my point.
I think it is because the level of exposure India actually gives. India's a huge
Do you
market.
think that also India is willing to put in more money and funding into their promotion and actual push?
But a lot of their work.
behind
Like,
artists?
I'll take Sidhu as an example.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of his stuff is produced in Canada.
yeah.
You know, and he comes to Canada, and you know, if you look at the way he dresses, the way he acts, that's all his target audience.
But he's
is
still
the
an
kid.
Indian. He's still an artist from Punjab.
So you're saying that even though his music is produced here, it's still listened to back there.
Yes, 100%. Because he still has that link.
But then surely
Okay. Would
is Bhangra a song? Is Bhangra,
would
what about Hina and stuff like that? They were produced here. Surely they were listened to back in India. Surely.
Yeah, I think so. However, I think it might just be a thing that the UK artists aren't appealing in
But
in
why?
that sense to sell out a whole concert.
But Sunny's question is right. Why?
Yeah.
What do
This is
what
the
do they
thing.
need to do?
So clearly there's some sort of missing ingredient, or the fact that people don't think that the UK has the willingness to.
I don't
reach there.
think people from Punjab fuck with UK artists because of the style of music.
Okay, but to that point.
But they always big
which are-
up
which
the
is-
UK
which is
style of
understandable.
bhangra.
So we're gonna cut the Punjab market out for a second. But the people like PBN and all these kind of artists that are here, one of people is a producer, but any singer that's like from here, like he's still listened to in North America, he's still listened to in Australia, New Zealand.
Is he?
Yeah, of course they are.
But
Yeah.
is he as big?
What do
They
you
are
mean?
dance floor bangers, yes, still.
Okay.
I'm
The
just
thing
quite
is, yeah,
curious to know.
we're not saying that UK artists and singers don't actually not get the chance to like do a concert or anything like that, but usually if they do, it's a compilation of them.
Correct.
It's a bunch of them together, like on like say like BBC Asian Network Live when they do that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of atmosphere because they're showcasing various artists all out
Yeah.
throughout this one show
Or
rather
they'll
than not having one.
yeah, or they'll get booked out to do maybe like a club night or a wedding
Yeah,
But I'm talking sort of the massive arenas where you've got 20,000 people. Like Diljit will come here.
So
he
for
sells out in everywhere he goes.
JK hasn't done that.
And
Who
JK is
else?
quite a desi.
Yes.
He's very desi. His music.
Sukhshinder Shinda
Yeah,
hasn't
that's a
done
valid
that.
point,
Yeah.
to be fair.
And Shinda is a legend as well.
He's a legend
in
as well.
Bhangra,
Yeah.
in
Isn't
UK
Shinda
Bhangra.
based in India, though?
Sukhshinder Shinda.
Yeah, isn't he based in India?
Is he?
No, he was here. No, he's Birmingham.
Actually, Jazzy B's Canada. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, but
Sukhshinder
even
Shinda?
Jazzy B was some of his stuff was produced here.
Yeah. I mean, I think JK is a good example because he's Midlands, literally.
Yeah.
Dudley.
Now he's got very desi style music,
Yeah.
but he's just not there. He's just not on that level, and I can't quite
And they
work
could put
out
on
why.
a sick show if they wanted to. I feel like they could, but this is the thing.
But they just wouldn't sell out.
I think it is down to funding. I don't think the UK producers, UK artists make enough money to sell out or put on a show that big.
Yeah, but then they're not.
I know there's things like sponsors and stuff like that, but maybe they just don't have the backing.
So
I-
Diljit is a
Unique example.
yeah, because he's an actor as well, and so
Yeah,
he's got
yeah,
fame
yeah.
from sort of that area as well.
All rounder.
Yeah, but I think about Ranjit Bala.
Mm.
He had it wasn't a massive concert to be fair, but it was a concert that he's had here.
Who the hell is Ranjit Bala?
How do I explain to you who Ranjit Bala is?
Actually, do you know what? I'm never going to get it, don't worry.
I'm trying to think of another one. So even Sidhu Moose Wala has come from wherever he's come from.
Yeah.
But he has concerts here. Like he had, I don't think about 3 or 4 concerts when he's come. I just don't understand
To
why.
even think of it, even people like Mickey Singh, Prophecy, they're not UK based, are they?
They're not.
No,
They're
all,
US
they're
based.
all, yeah,
They-
they're all
They haven't
North
done
America.
concerts like that. They would usually come here and join in with the whole
Yeah.
lineup of different
Yeah.
artists.
They will never come here, and there will never be like a sellout of just him. You know how like
Really? I think Mickey Singh could sell out Wembley.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think he could.
90% females. Yes,
I don't think so.
definitely.
No, I think he could,
I
man.
don't think he would.
Why not?
I just don't think he's just on that level. He just doesn't have that same.
You know
appeal.
what? It comes down to the body of music, the kind of how much they're giving in terms of like the musical style as well.
And it's frustrating because they're not bad. Like Sunny mentioned Mickey Singh, he's not a bad singer. I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
I think Mickey Singh is sick.
But I just don't see him doing a concert like Diljit will do.
Maybe
or
they
like
haven't
a
gotten the
concert.
opportunity. Maybe they haven't got the contact to
But
even
I don't
one
get
yet.
why you don't see that.
Maybe in about 5-6
When
years
have you
they
ever
will.
heard him coming here to do a concert?
No, I'm not saying when have you seen it. I'm saying why can't you imagine him doing it?
I just don't think he's that big.
I think he's huge. I think he's massive all over the world.
No, I just don't see it happening. Maybe I'm wrong. I've never seen him. I've never heard of him doing a concert in the UK.
He's like the pretty boy of Bhangra.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm not disputing that. I don't know. Like, I just don't think.
I'm not fanboying him. I'm just saying he's a pretty boy of Bhangra.
Now, if he was to come here to do a concert, would he come here and sell out the SSE arena?
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay,
So then why hasn't
there's
he done
a big difference between Ami Virk and, let's say, Mickey Singh. Mickey Singh has about 300k followers.
it? Yeah, I mean,
Ami Virk has 4.7 million.
that's my point. That is my point. Like, why are the
because the style of music has gained a substantial part of an audience that is more in tune with that artist and that singer.
But having said that, Ami Virk is another example because he is an actor. Well, how many
So
followers does
so
Sidhu
you
have?
can't compare him then.
So
can you?
how many followers does Sidhu have?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I think most of them are probably armed police and.
Trying to hunt him
and
down.
Little Freshy Boys in Punjab.
No, I think
4.2 million.
No,
Right,
I think
far
Sidhu
off.
Moose Wala has made some absolute bangers.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sidhu Moose Wala I think he's quite good. I mean, vocally, I'm not sure. I mean, he's that guy.
I just want to reference a meme that, not disrespecting the bug in any way, but if he didn't have a bug, he'd look Mexican.
It's the moustache. It's 100% the moustache. Sidhu Moose Wala isn't an actor, but look how big he's become. Right? Look how massive he's become. And most of his stuff is produced in Canada. I know he has some stuff in India, but a lot of it's produced in Canada. Why aren't singers from the US or Bhangra singers from the US or from the
It's a
UK?
tough
Why don't they
one.
just ever reach that level?
I think maybe Vic. I mean, we don't know for sure, but I think Vic may have nailed it on the head. I think it probably is funding.
I think it's funding and the style of music that's appealing.
Funding.
It's probably
But who funds it? The record labels, right?
Record labels, managers, maybe the managers are stopping
it's
them. I don't know
probably
if they
more
have managers as
expensive
well.
to produce and push out a song in Western countries than it is in India.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most of his stuff is produced in Canada, so surely he's been pushed out in Western countries. The only difference between the two is one's from India and one's from US.
I think there is something about artists that come from India. Artists, you're either incredibly shit and you're using autotune and yeah, you just shit and like you're just fucking shit. I don't know how other way to explain it, but you're just shit. And I'm not shitting on you because I'm
You're
not an artist. You're shit.
Can we just bring up Miss Borja for a second? Where's she from?
One second.
India.
Before we do that,
She's a Kent, by the way. Big up.
is she actually?
Miss Borja's from India, but she was here and she was packing out concerts too.
So so that's my point. You're either shit, like I said, like you're really shit. And I'll say shit one more time just for saying shit.
She
Shit.
said it twice.
I just want to say it too. Shit.
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 And you're either shit or
This is turning into the shitcast.
Yeah.
Come on.
huh?
This is turning into the shitcast.
Yeah. You're either you're either
Well, we need to get past this
very
first.
good, or like you're fucking amazing. And like Bhangra artists from India, they pop. Like look at like Sherry Martin. He makes one song which is Yarn. I'm not
Gary
Yaran
Sandu
Mulle,
is another
that's it.
example.
He's been Hostel,
Gary
and they
Sandu.
popped.
Timpeg,
Right, and then you've got people like Guru
Guru Randava.
Randhawa.
Fuck, I can never say it.
Randhawa.
Guru Randava.
Randava.
Right, he made one like song which was Lahore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the
And my
other one
mum
as well.
went to see him, for
Huh?
fuck's sake. Live. And my mum was like, he was shit live, to be fair. He just kept repeating that one
Can you
song
guys
again.
remind me who sang Chitte Sort?
Geeta Zeldar.
Yes. So I met Geeta Zeldar at a meeting with some people, and I once thought his music was cool. There's a reason why his songs don't get played anymore.
Why?
Because he's an absolute fucking douche. I will say that straight
Well,
up.
that's just another word for shit.
Yeah. You know what? There's so much that happens behind the scenes, and I understand, like, there's a lot in terms of what we don't know, and I found out, and I'm gonna be straight open with this. I lost respect for him when he came to this meeting with his manager, who is a female.
You were cheating on her, innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He fully told us
cheated,
he's got kids and everything, and he was like, yeah.
I mean,
Let's
that's
have an
his.
affair.
That's his personal life. I mean, I know there's rumors of what's that? But what's his name? Something Verma. What's his name? For fuck's sake.
Parmesh Verma.
Yeah, is that him?
Uh-huh.
Is he the one with the big beard?
Yes. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Apparently, he's like that too.
yeah.
AP Dillon, whatever his name was.
Dilpreet
Dilpreet Dillon,
obviously
sorry,
had
was like that
some,
too.
domestic issues.
Like it
yeah.
happens, and what they do in their personal life. For me personally,
But I think
I'm only
the-
interested in their music.
yeah, of course, but again, it's like you can be as talented as hell, and put out amazing music, whatever it is, especially with even Doll or anything else.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But when it comes down to these things being exposed, it can literally fuck up your whole career.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I do agree. But maybe some people don't care.
Yeah, some
There's some
don't
people
care.
who don't give a shit.
They
Yeah.
know they're in the public eye. People are gonna find things out.
Yeah.
Things get told and spread. But that brings us on to a question. What is one thing that you dislike about bhangra artists, not musical based? So like nothing to do with their music or anything like that, but what do you not like?
I was gonna say Miss Borgia's voice, but that's me.
Give us another.
I mean, that's a difficult one because unless you know them personally, it's quite hard to. Or unless you've met them, it's quite hard to.
So
answer
let's
that.
not judge people physically because that's not very nice. But what I am gonna
Let's
say,
not let's not
like
talk about
let's
Sidhu
let,
Moose Wala's
yeah, let's
chin.
not judge people. Like judging people physically is not very nice, and we're not promoting this in any way. But what I would like to say is, what the fuck is going on with Sidhu Moose Wala's moustache?
I did just say that, yeah. Well, I just mentioned his chin, but then I looked at his dad, and they've got the same chin, so I can't say
Like-
much.
This is funny because he's brought this up before as well. Like he's genuinely we've had a conversation on this before.
It's just weird. But each to their own, Like I'm not mocking him. I think he's a tall, handsome lad. Just get rid of the tash.
Go on, Pav. What do you dislike?
It's hard. I mean, I can't really. I guess how some of them, like again, I'm going to use Sidhu as an example. How he portrays himself in his songs.
Hmm.
The whole promoting gang violence and that kind of stuff
Got
isn't.
you. So
What, you don't
that's
like
actually
that?
an
You don't
interesting
like that?
point because yes, see,
I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, but have you
I don't think
heard
it's a good
American
thing-
hip hop?
either
I know.
Can I bring up
know,
a
but that's the
point?
thing. Huh?
about how a lot of these artists talk about walking around that we live by gun, die by gun, hold AK-47s, walk around the streets. That's kind of what they're saying. And then
Sidhu Moose Wala
where I
literally
laugh-
had a song called 47.
Yes, exactly. But this is where it comes down to. It's like, and then I don't know why it's so laughable, but I crease up every time I see these things from like these freshies from India or whatever, with like a full gigantic Titanic sized bug on their head.
Can I just say we probably shouldn't say freshies from India out of respect because we have a bit of an Indian listenership.
That is a
So
very good point.
we probably should show some
Okay.
respect to our Indian listenership and not say freshies from India. We should just say
Overseas.
Someone from the
NRI.
bin.
No, that's the opposite, isn't
No,
it?
NRI is non-resident India. That's
Yeah,
us.
yeah, so-
Well,
Is that what it is?
yeah.
Residents of India.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, but it's like these young guys, just taking a picture, just standing there with an AK-47 in their hand.
But
No beard, no nothing. I mean, like you just look like you're just
But,
prepubescent.
I mean,
with
Sunny just
gun
said
in
something.
hand.
He goes, but have you heard American hip hop? Now, I think about people like Tupac and all the shit that they used to say in their songs. But then that was the life they actually lived.
yeah,
Like they lived and died by the gun.
yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I listen to a lot of hip hop, and yes, to a certain degree, that's true. But
But does Sidhu Moose Wala really roll around with guns and stuff in his?
I don't
well, like if you what's that Notorious, the movie with Biggie?
Yeah.
There's a point when he's sitting. You've seen the movie, right?
Yeah.
There's a point when Biggie's sitting in his record label's office.
Yeah.
And the guy goes to him, "Do you want to sell drugs, or do you want to just rap about?" So he goes, "Do you want to be a gangster, or do you just want to rap about being a gangster?"
Mm.
Yeah, but even Notorious, when he started off, he was.
True, but like,
So he's still rapping about stuff that
but
was involved in.
even like how much of a diehard fan I am of Eminem.
Yeah.
There are times where Eminem has openly said, a lot of the shit I say is just to piss people off. It's just to stir a reaction. Half this shit's not even true. It's exaggerated. It's content, it's story, and it's fictional. It's storytelling. See rap or music as a poem.
Yeah.
It literally what it is just put to a beat. Right?
Right.
So, I kind of don't care if it's fake or not. Like, I don't give a shit. You know?
Which is fine. But then, if your kids were watching that and getting, and watching Sidhu, for example, and then starting to use him as a role model, would you be happy?
Yeah, but that's the same as playing a video game.
I know, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to play GTA unless you're 18.
I played GTA from like the age of 11. I turned out alright.
Oh, that's questionable.
That's questionable, but
No,
for the most part, I turned out.
No, I know. And to be fair, I think we all have. But there are kids out there that have turned into complete nutcases.
Yeah, but I also think that's because I also think that's like a wider influence as well. Like, yes, I'm not a parent, so I'm never going to question a parent and their ability to parent. But I don't think you can blame it on one single thing. I think there's a lot that contributes to an influence and the upbringing of a child, and I don't think you can attribute it just because. Like, Eminem got a lot of stick for saying. So, Eminem released a song. I'm going to tell you what the song is. 1 second, because it was on his first album, and it was a really depressing song.
Whilst you find that,
it's called Rock Bottom.
Okay.
Oh,
He released a song called Rock Bottom. Rock Bottom. And if anybody's heard this, you'll know how depressing this is. And this was on his first album, the Slim Shady EP or LP, I can't remember. And somebody committed suicide and left a note quoting the lyrics of Rock Bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a lot of shit for it. He was like, "Oh, you're making kids commit suicide because you're pushing them over the edge." And his argument is, well, where the fuck were you?
It's a fair argument.
It's true.
You're the parent. Where the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, like, if my kid turns around going, yeah, I bought a gun because Sidhu Moose Wala told me to, like, that gun's going to be pointed at the kid, No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I would never do that. But my point being is that you can't attribute it just because that artist. I remember my nephew playing GTA with me. Like, we were messing around, right? And I ran over a guy on a car in the game, not in person. And I asked his dad. I was like, "Is he okay, like, watching this?" And he was like, "No, he's old enough to know the difference between reality and what's in the game."
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's why that comes with a level of human intelligence. We are able to distinguish what's our reality, for the most part, what's our reality and what's actually fiction.
But then that's also why films and stuff, they rate them according to what age group you should fall in, because stuff like a 12 rated film will have certain action scenes, so kids that are 12 or older will know actually this is reality versus what I'm watching.
Yeah,
but like Sidhu Moose Wala's
agree.
music video isn't. They don't. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they don't.
As it said, provide parental advisement.
Correct.
On music.
Yeah, they don't do that, so anybody can watch it. Now, I'm not blaming Sidhu for it, and I'm not saying he should stop. I'm just saying, well, he's not a gangster in it, so why is he acting like it? Is my point. And essentially, what he's doing is he's promoting it.
The audience, that's what it is.
I think you just said it. You just answered your own question. You said he's not a gangster, so why is he acting like one? He's acting. He's acting because it makes him money.
And he knows it works.
No, I know. I'm just saying I don't like it. Because Vic's question to me was, what do you not like about...
Yeah.
I think I just
fair.
don't like it when you
that.
just act like something you're not.
Yeah. You know when people say that they respect
opinion.
when someone's more true to themselves.
Yeah, I get your opinion.
Maybe that doesn't work for him.
Yeah,
because maybe apart from that,
maybe he's fucking boring.
Yes, exactly. So he's doing these things or saying these things or having this.
It definitely sells.
Yeah,
it 100% sells.
Absolutely.
So I fully understand why he's doing it.
Yeah.
But if you ask me something I don't like about singers, like I just don't like how they sometimes portray themselves when you know they're not like that.
Yeah, and that brings me on to like when I particularly don't like when I'm at a wedding and say like a singer that's been hired to come to do a little an hour set or something,
They mime it.
they no, not even that they mime it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. If they mime it, then yeah, you're not really providing your service all the way. You know, someone's paid you to sing at a wedding.
You don't see door players miming.
Sonny. Sonny said it. I mean,
I never mime.
Nah. So they walk in like everyone should be on their ass, like
Really?
walking in with an entourage, acting like they're the dog's bollocks.
But that's not just Bhangra artists, right? That's being a celebrity.
But that's the thing. They have that celebrity mindset. But I remember, I was waiting to play Dol, with an artist, and Tubbsy was there. Tubbsy's a doorkeeper,
yeah.
And so Tubbsy was upstairs, and I was on my laptop just doing a bit of work just beforehand while I was at a gig. I know I shouldn't do that, but I had a lot to do. So I was sitting there, and a singer walks through, and you know, we're all sitting there waiting until we actually go on to actually perform. And as we were going towards the stage, I quickly just went to Tubbsy. I was like, "Who is that?" He goes, "It's Nachatar Gill." I was like, I didn't even realise. Like, I didn't know. But Nachatar Gill is just sitting there, not talking to anyone, and he's just on his phone. And I feel like that's a bit arrogant. Like, I would, you know, at least introduce yourself or shake your hand. He comes in acting like we should know who he is. And I know who Nachatar Gill is. I just didn't see it. Like, we don't get to know a lot of them by face sometimes, just to know, like, recognise them straight away. But I thought it was a little bit weird. Like, why not actually speak to people and actually be engaging with people? Like, when I see JK, he's cool with us. Like, he'll speak to us. He'll say, "G'day lads, you know, like, how you doing? You know, you're gonna play Dor, blah blah blah, whatever." You know, and he's more talkative, engaging, rather than just kind of sitting there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in my own little world, my own little shell, because I'm too good to be around you lot."
But are you sure that's not just because of a language barrier? Because JK is from here, so he can. Because Jaggy D is cool. Yeah, I mean, Sonny's black.
Do you think it might be a language barrier?
I think it could be, because, like I said, Jaggy D was cool, and we met him in France. We've met H Dami before. H Dami's cool. Jazzy B, we met not Jazzy B, sorry.
Bear in mind, these guys are younger as well.
I met Jazzy B actually.
Have you met Jazzy B?
Yeah, I used to, when he had long hair.
Yeah. Oh.
I used to be a Bhangra dancer for a team in East London.
Oh.
What a BS.
I did.
Sonny, you've never been a Bhangra dancer.
Oh my god, I have. When I
Pav.
was younger, I was part of a Bhangra team.
I don't know.
Pav, you're his best friend, please.
I don't know.
Sonny, why are you BSing me?
Actually, no. I've seen a picture. Your dad used to teach, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
I've seen a
Sonny
picture.
dancing?
Yeah.
Why do I not know about this?
Because he had two left feet, and so no, we don't talk about it.
So, I met Jazzy B when he had long hair, and I remember he had this massive kunda.
Oh yeah, that
It's a
massive.
massive
still
number.
has that.
So I met him, and we got the chance. He was like, "Yeah, we signed autographs and we got pictures." There was like one person with a camera, like the big cameras, like back in the day. Nobody had like phones. But I met him.
But he was cool, right?
Yeah, it was cool.
Right. So he's another westernized Bhangra singer.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a really quick question. What's one artist that you think deserves more recognition for what they do?
Okay.
Or I guess didn't deserve.
Like
didn't
they've not sort of been given the opportunity, or they deserve like way more recognition than they've actually got.
I will tell you straight away. Ranjit Mani.
Who? Ranjit Mani.
Ranjit Mani. If anyone doesn't know, Buddha Sardara there was Ranjit Mani, RDB, and all them. You know, all that like first collaboration. And AK Amazing, a YouTuber, put out an album not too long ago where they go, "Did you forget where you had, you know, tracks like these, where these kind of like golden tracks came from, you know, who originated these tracks?" And Ranjit Mani is one of those, and he came back in terms of like just doing a little bit of a vocal, and you rehear that vocal where he says ki kehne, and all that kind of stuff, you know. And so it's kind of like you recognize that's that vocal again, but and then he never really like got his chance, I guess. I think he kind of set that trend, but it never got
Okay.
you know, taken further. But people always remember Buddha Sardara there was this vocalist.
Me, I'd say Master Salim. I think people don't talk about him.
He sang Dol Jagir on that, right?
He did sing, yeah. I mean, for ages I thought Diljit was sang by a woman.
What?
I thought he was sang by a woman originally. I didn't realize it was
It's because of the high pitch.
the high pitching. Yeah. But the reason why I say Master Salim is if you ever watch Voice of Punjab
Yeah.
and you see him sing on there, he's phenomenal. Some of the notes that he hits, the control in his voice is phenomenal.
Brilliant.
What that man can do. But he's just not spoken about. Like, we talk about Diljit and we talk about all these big artists, but in terms of singing, I actually think Master Salim is better, but just hasn't reached those heights.
Sure.
And I don't know what those reasons are. Maybe his songs weren't as good. Maybe the style is completely off and we don't really appreciate that style. But I think Master Salim
You
should
know
be...
what? I would say that he's good at what he does.
I think you also need to...
And you're right about that. People just don't know how to appreciate it.
I also think you need to match a talented singer with a talented producer.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very good point. But I think it does also come down to his style. He's quite a traditional Qawwali type style. If you've heard Master Salim, so yeah, I think Master Salim for me.
I think definitely people just don't know how to appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah.
Rather they'd like not great artists.
Yeah, no, but it's strange because he's had he's taught some kids and they've gone on to these singing shows in India and actually won. And like there was one, he blew everyone out of the water. Like he literally just romped through that competition. Like he was literally...
Okay.
And he had training from Master Salim, so you think, you know what, he's a really good singer. And all the professional singers, they all appreciate him.
Yeah.
But it's just we as...
I'm going to bring this up, yeah. So you have Master Salim, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have Gurdas Maan, all those people.
Yeah.
Then you have people that actually don't know how to appreciate that, but they appreciate people like Friends of Harami. Sorry, I'm just going to leave that there.
Appreciate like who?
Friends of Harami. You know the guy from the one that made that song with Gus Productions? The fucking dirty one, man. You have no idea.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
His name's Harami.
His Friends of Harami, yeah.
That's what they call him, Friends of Harami. This guy's got, I don't know how many followers, but people actually like his music. I'm like,
Listen, depends on you.
That's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
I feel like that's it, you know.
But everyone's
People's
opinion, I
perception on
suppose, isn't
music
it?
is different.
Yeah, everyone likes different things.
Yeah.
Sonny, what about you?
I'm just thinking about a song.
Which one? Friends of Harami's one?
Yeah, I know which song.
You know what you're talking about, innit? It's,
Yeah, it was a
So
problem.
quite vulgar.
I think the song is disgusting,
yeah, it's terrible.
but
There was ill intention there.
but
definitely.
no, I don't think so. But that is nothing the American hip hop market's not done.
That's a good point.
Like who? Lil Wayne?
I can just picture like look at Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's
Go
what I said,
look at
yeah.
Lil Wayne saying
What about Eminem's Superman?
yeah, what about Eminem Superman? Exactly, like the way he's being derogatory to women.
It just
That's
sounds disgusting.
mainstream.
It is disgusting, but
I
you know,
think-
I
I
think
think
it
it
sounds
makes it
even
worse
worse in
'cause it's
Punjabi.
Punjabi.
Exactly.
Everything,
that. There you
everything
go.
in Punjabi sounds like 10 times worse.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
agreed.
that's not for me. I would not be. To be fair, like sometimes I'm in the car with my mum and I'm listening to hip hop and something comes up, but like, oh, you know, motherfucker, this, whatever. Like there's a rap lyric, but I can't explain to you why. I would feel far more uncomfortable with Punjabi swearing of a similar nature.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
100%. I think
It's a lot more vile sounding.
I think it sounds disgusting, but also like when you hear like mainstream people like Gora Kale sing that kind of stuff, like I know it's just natural that you just think, oh well, that's
normal.
what they do, isn't it? It's normal
more
for them.
Accepted.
But you hear it in Punjabi
So-
and you hear Apna sing it, and you think, what the fuck are you doing? But the point I'm trying to make it's just our perception of things. Sonny's right; it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Swearing in English and swearing in Punjabi, but it's just how it's just perceived, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, my favourite,
Yes.
the artist
Underrated.
that I think
Underrated. Yeah.
who's not got enough recognition, Rockstar.
Ooh.
Dope.
Rockstar, for me, is one of the most talented rappers. Not even in the brown community, but I just think like I would love to see Rapstar on like a Timbaland beat, or Logic's producer, who's actually Indian, Six. And if you don't know Logic, go check him out. He's fucking amazing. I'd love to see Rackstar on a beat, because Rackstar, first of all, the way he jumps between English and Punjabi is sick. Like being able to rhyme Punjabi, then within the same song be able to switch. Sorry, not even in the same song, in the same line, or in the same set of bars to switch from Punjabi to English and still have the words rhyme. That's impressive. But also his voice and delivery, like he sounds like he's you know how like American rappers just sound clean and crisp. You know how Logic's really clean and crisp. Rackstar is very clean and crisp. And I think Rackstar is a very talented storyteller.
I think his time hasn't come yet.
I want to see Rackstar go big.
Yeah,
I would love to see
that's definitely
him.
coming.
I would agree with Vic. I think maybe his time is still.
I would love to see him up against people thinking of you, like UK rap has kicked off massively.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'd love to see him do a song with like AJ Tracy and.
Can you imagine Stormzy and Rackstar?
Yeah, like Stormzy and Rackstar. Could you imagine Stormzy and Rackstar?
That would.
How
be
much of a
sick.
fucking vibe would that be?
No, absolutely.
That would be mad.
That would be sick.
On a dirty produced beat, like on a Still Bangles beat.
Yeah.
Okay, Rackstar, Stormzy on a Still Bangles beat would be insane. And I think that would give mainstream art. He would give mainstream
That's all
artists
UK.
a run for his money.
That is all UK. That's UK grime. You got
a UK Indian producer, and you've got an Punjabi
rapper, British rapper,
who can easily rival people who are in the mainstream.
Yeah. Like you remember Dr. Zeus had Shorty on every track. You remember Dr. Zeus had Shorty on every track.
Yeah.
Like every track.
Yeah.
We don't hear about him anymore. His time came and went.
Yeah.
Back on the tracks when when we were talking about the 2000s early, those sort of tracks, but Rackstar's time hasn't even come yet. Straight. It's going to happen, definitely.
I want to see it happen.
Yeah.
Rackstar.
If you're listening, make it happen.
Rackstar, Still Bangles, Stormzy. Come on, let's make this happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, shall we wrap up?
Yeah, let's.
It's a long episode, but I think there was a lot.
2 hours of
to
content.
think about, yeah.
What time is it?
It's 10
o'clock.
Shit, man, we've been here since 3.
Oh no.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the In the Group Chat podcast, and we're out.